Lions hang on for win. FNPV 19-24 clash. Talk about a showdown that had everyone holding their breath. The British and Irish Lions barely scraped past the fired-up First Nations and Pasifika 15 in Melbourne, prevailing 24-19 in a match that had more twists than a thriller movie. But here's where it gets controversial. Many are still asking whether the Lions really did enough to earn that victory, or if their reputation shielded them from tougher questions. From the moment the whistle blew at Marvel Stadium, the Lions looked set to dominate. Jamie Osborne and Darcy Graham crossed the line in quick succession, giving their side a seemingly comfortable 14-0 cushion. Fullback Finn Smith slotted both conversions, and for a while it felt like the tourists would steamroll their opponents just as they had in the first test. Yet the mood shifted dramatically. No one expects a rugby game to be predictable, but few saw this roller coaster coming. As soon as Graham touched down his second try of the night, he limped off injured, his disappointment visible for all to see. Replacing a player fresh from a scoring spree is never easy, and the Lions' early momentum began to wobble. 5 minutes later, Pasifika wing Tristan Riley intercepted a loose Blair Kinghorn pass and tore away to the line, sending Curtleigh Beale's conversion over the crossbar. Suddenly the scoreboard read 14-7, and the argument that the Lions lacked depth looked less hypothetical and more urgent. And this is the part most people miss. A yellow card for a high tackle on Graham gave the hosts a numerical advantage, allowing them to pile on the pressure. When dynamic open-side Charlie Gamble, who had already tormented the Lions earlier in the tour while wearing a Waratahs jersey, turned over ball after ball, it felt like every big hit amplified the underdog's confidence. Then, monstrous Loch Seruyaryu powered over for a second converted try just before halftime. In a flash, the contest was level at 14-all. Analysts will debate whether the Lions' coaching staff were too conservative in their substitutions, especially after James Ryan picked up a yellow card for slowing down play near the line. Some might even argue the match officials were overly strict or too lenient at crucial moments. What do you think? Early in the second half, Scott Cummings, already staking a claim to a bench spot in the upcoming test, blazed through a mountain of tackles and helped set up Osborne's second 5-pointer. Moments later, Duhan van der Merwe finished off an exquisite delayed pass from captain Owen Farrell, stretching the lead to 24-14. It seemed the Lions had rediscovered their composure. Yet Pasifika refused to lie down. As the clock ticked under the 70-minute mark, powerhouse number 8 Rob Leota bulldozed his way over from close range. The resulting conversion drifted wide, but the gap shrank to 5 points. The underdogs surged again, their physicality and skill on full display, but time ran out before they could snatch an unlikely win. Let's break down the key statistics for anyone new to rugby. A try is worth 5 points and involves grounding the ball in the opponent's in-goal area. Each successful conversion kick adds 2 more points. When a player commits a serious infringement, like a high tackle, they can be temporarily sent off for 10 minutes, commonly called a sin bin or yellow card. That period often tips the balance, as we saw when Pasifika exploited their extra man to level the scores. Standout performers. For the hosts, open-side Charlie Gamble was relentless at the breakdown, echoing the form he showed for the Waratahs earlier in the tour. His tackles and turnovers were nothing short of brilliant. On the Lions' side, Jamie Osborne's brace of tries kept the scoreboard ticking, while Scott Cummings effectively argued for a spot on the bench in Saturday's second test. Final squads. First Nations and Pasifika 15. Starters: Muirhead, Riley, Fokiti, Feliui Doganu, Beale, Captain, Thomas, Yelly, Paingamosa, Tupou, Swain, Salakailoto, Yaryu, Gamble, Tulaima. Replacements: Asiata, Pierce, Doge, Vosavos, Leota, Goddard, Debrexini, McLeod. British and Irish Lions. Starters: Kinghorn, Graham, Osborne, Farrell, Captain, van der Merwe, F. Smith, White, Showman, George, Beelham, Ryan, Cummings, Morgan, van der Flyer, Pollock. Replacements: Ashman, Sutherland, Clarkson, Brown, Earl, Mitchell, M. Smith, Ringrose. Match officials. Referee: Nika Amashukali, Georgia. Assistant refs: Ben O'Keefe, New Zealand; Andrea Piardi, Italy; TMO Marius Jonker, South Africa. Foul Play Review Officer, Richard Kelly, New Zealand. This win extends the Lions' unbeaten run, but it certainly wasn't the dominant performance some expected. Was it a warning sign or simply a tricky night on a bumpy pitch? Do you think the Lions should rethink their strategy or celebrate a hard-fought success? Drop your thoughts below and let the debate begin. Owen Farrell captains British and Irish Lions vs First Nations and Pasifika 15, Melbourne match preview. Get ready for a thrilling showdown as the British and Irish Lions gear up for their final midweek tour match. But here's the twist: Owen Farrell, son of head coach Andy Farrell, will lead the charge as captain against the formidable First Nations and Pasifika 15 in Melbourne on Tuesday. And this is the part most people miss. Farrell's inclusion comes after a late call-up due to Elliot Daly's forearm injury, which forced him to return home after the second tour match against the Queensland Reds. But here's where it gets controversial. With 10 late call-ups in total, the Lions are strategically shielding their key players ahead of Saturday's high-stakes second test against the Wallabies at the MCG. Is this a wise move or a risky gamble? Let's dive in. The starting lineup features a mix of fresh faces and seasoned players, including scrum half Ben White, hooker Jamie George, prop Finlay Bealham, wing Darcy Graham, and centre Jamie Osborne alongside Farrell. On the bench, hooker Ewan Ashman, loose head Rory Sutherland, tie head Thomas Clarkson, and lock Gregor Brown are ready to make an impact. Interestingly, 7 of these 10 late additions were initially brought in as cover, but now they're stepping into the spotlight. Fullback Blair Kinghorn, recovering from a knee injury, joins Duhan van der Merwe and Graham in the back three, while centre Gary Ringrose returns to the bench after overcoming a concussion. Fly half Finn Smith pairs with White at halfback, and loose head prop Pierre Schoeman anchors the front row with George and Bealham. In the pack, James Ryan and Scott Cummings form a solid second row, backed by a powerhouse back row trio of Jack Morgan, Josh van der Flyer, and Henry Pollock. Notably, Ben Earl, Alex Mitchell, and Marcus Smith, who featured in Saturday's first test, double up on the bench. Head coach Andy Farrell emphasizes the importance of this fixture, stating, "This gives players another chance to prove themselves for the final 2 tests." The coaches are keeping an open mind, and we want that competitive spirit to continue. But here's the bold question: can this lineup truly challenge a First Nations and Pasifika team brimming with talent and power? British and Irish Lions starting 15 *. 15. Blair Kinghorn 14. Darcy Graham 13. Jamie Osborne 12. Owen Farrell C 11. Duhan van der Merwe 10. Finn Smith 9. Ben White 1. Pierre Schoeman 2. Jamie George 3. Finlay Bealham 4. James Ryan 5. Scott Cummings 6. Jack Morgan 7. Josh van der Flyer 8. Henry Pollock. Replacements * 16. Ewan Ashman 17. Rory Sutherland 18. Thomas Clarkson 19. Gregor Brown 20. Ben Earl 21. Alex Mitchell 22. Marcus Smith 23. Gary Ringrose. For fans eager to catch the action, Sky Sports will exclusively broadcast the 2025 British and Irish Lions Tour of Australia, including all 3 tests against the Wallabies and 7 tour matches. Don't miss out, stream with no contract or get Sky Sports today. And remember, Howden Insurance is the proud principal partner and front-of-shirt sponsor of the Lions. What's your take on Farrell's captaincy and the team's strategy? Share your thoughts in the comments. Let's spark some debate. British and Irish Lions, analyzing the tour win and Andy Farrell's strategy. In the world of rugby, the British and Irish Lions tour win might just be the lifeline Andy Farrell needed. This victory, though scrappy, carries significant weight and could make his coaching decisions a lot smoother moving forward. On July 22, 2025, the British and Irish Lions faced off against the First Nations Pasifika 15, and while the Lions managed to secure a 24-19 win, the performance was far from flawless. Many players were banking on this match to showcase their talents and secure a spot in the second Test lineup. However, the strong resistance from the first Nations-Pasifika 15 and the Lions' own inconsistent play may have dashed those hopes for some. But here's where it gets controversial * given how the Lions dominated the early stages of the first Test against Australia. It's unlikely that Farrell will make any drastic changes to the starting 15. Disrupting the team dynamic by benching players who performed well initially could do more harm than good. And this is the part most people miss. The real challenge lies in maintaining the team's morale and cohesion, especially after a less than stellar performance. Farrell, known for his high standards, is acutely aware that the Wallabies won the second half of the first Test in Brisbane, 14-10. This suggests that the Lions' dominance was not as solid as it appeared, and Farrell will be pushing for improvements. One area where he might shake things up is the bench, where fresh legs and new strategies can make a significant difference. Marcus Smith, a versatile player favored by Farrell, had to leave the field due to a head injury, raising concerns about his availability. With limited playing time on tour, especially at fly half, Smith's condition will be closely monitored. On the other hand, Owen Farrell, who made his first start of the tour against the first Nations-Pasifika 15, showed promising form. His experience and adaptability could be crucial in the high-pressure environment of a decisive Test match. The back row, which shone brightly in Brisbane, will also be under scrutiny. Players like Henry Pollock and Jack Morgan, who had a strong showing on Tuesday, could push for a place on the bench. Morgan's ability to disrupt the breakdown in the latter stages of a game, when fatigue sets in, could be a game-changer against the Wallabies, who may struggle with depth. But here's a twist * Farrell might opt to keep the squad on their toes by making some strategic changes. Both Pollock and Morgan are capable of stepping up, and Pollock's energetic style, demonstrated in his clash with Sarriou, could add a valuable edge to the team. Ultimately, Farrell's approach will be measured and thoughtful. While he won't make sweeping changes, he understands the importance of keeping both his players and the opposition guessing. This balanced strategy could be the key to securing a successful outcome in the upcoming Test matches. What do you think? Should Farrell stick with the winning formula or mix things up? Share your thoughts in the comments below.